And away we go.
All right, first things first. Happy Mother's Day. It's been a very beautiful day today, beautiful Sunday, and just a generally beautiful day. But,
Absolutely.
yes, but let's get right into the news.
The news. Yes. Very exciting days. Not really. Iran says fourth round of difficult nuclear talks with US ends in Oman.
Okay. So, is there more in this news?
Yes. On May 11th, 2025, indirect negotiations between Iran and the United States commenced in Oman for the fourth time, centering on Tehran's nuclear activities. These talks follow the 2018 collapse of the 2015 nuclear deal after the US withdrew unilaterally, leaving Iran to abandon enrichment limits and advance uranium purity. The US side, led by envoy Steve Witkoff, demands full dismantlement of Iran's enrichment facilities, while Iran insists on maintaining uranium enrichment as a red line. Witkoff emphasized that Iran must not have any uranium enrichment activities going forward, highlighting the US position, while Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reaffirmed their firm stance on the negotiation limits.
Well, I will say this: it's definitely an interesting turn of events in regards to the negotiations. I will say that, and yeah, all I can really say is I hope things go just continue to just go smoothly and nothing just erupts into chaos.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Well, although I am pleased that there is no further escalation whatsoever, whenever I hear nuclear talks, I'm done. I leave the room because when countries threaten with nuclear warheads if they don't give in to negotiations, I assume that they won't actually do it because they know how deadly nuclear weapons are. They just say that as to scare the opposition to do stuff. But we've seen it many, many times before. Most of the time, they won't do it. Now, it could happen, but most of the time, they won't do it because if they do it, the international court will have to make an investigation into this and give whatever charges that is beyond severity of anything we could ever imagine onto them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely. I will say this: definitely, people threaten with nuclear weapons, but they're not actually going to use them because it's like you said, they know how deadly they are. So it's it's just really only an empty threat unless you actually go through with that empty threat. Unless, you want to kill like millions of people with that one nuke. Yeah, it's just gonna continue to be an empty threat. I mean, we know that they have it, and yes, like you said, I would have immediately left the room too. But ultimately, yeah, we know that they have it, but the real question is, are they gonna actually use it? The answer is no, because that'd be stupid. They're not
Yeah,
stupid people.
and dangerous too.
It's stupid and dangerous. Yeah, it's just like they're not stupid people. So it's either actually, I'm not gonna say actually use them, bro. That's putting myself in danger. No, no, yeah, it's always gonna be an empty threat. No one is gonna actually drop nukes, but you know, it'll kill a whole civilization of people, a whole
Exactly.
race of people. Shoot, it'll just kill the whole country in general. There'll be no more country. You know how long it would take to rebuild that country? Like new people would have to move into that country and take on whatever name whatever name the countryman took on.
Yeah,
And you can kill an entire country. So yeah, I don't. They're not gonna drop it, but yeah, it's still good to be cautious regardless.
exactly.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Twitter X says India asked it to block 8,000 accounts, including those of global news outlets.
Wow, interesting. Is there more in the story?
Elon Musk's social media platform announced on Thursday that it blocked over 8,000 accounts in India following government orders. The Indian government issued these executive orders amid escalating conflict with Pakistan, often without specifying which post violated laws or providing evidence. The blocked accounts include prominent users and international news organizations, and India is also targeting Pakistani politicians, celebrities, media outlets, and YouTube channels alleged to spread proactive content. Twitter X characterized the blocking of entire accounts as an excessive measure imposed by the government that restricts access to both current and forthcoming content, opposing the principle of free speech.
Elon. It's always about Elon in regards to free speech.
Oh, yes.
I'm not gonna lie. The other day I was really considering I was really considering deleting my main Instagram account, but I'm like, nah, cause I don't know. It's like I get certain I get certain things on Twitter that I don't get anywhere else. So I just keep it. Plus, I don't know. It's kind of how I watch wrestling too, in a way, or keep up with wrestling. Not even watch, just keep up with it. But yeah, it's just yeah. I don't yeah. It's like in regards to just like everything in general. It's like it's just I thought I personally like just was considering deleting Twitter because it's like I was really trying to ask myself what use do I have for it? What am I really doing with it? But it's like I get certain things off Twitter, so it's cool for now. But obviously if I have to pay for it, then yeah, I'll delete my account. But that's only if like it gets to a point where I have to pay for Twitter. But other than that, I'll keep it. Might not use it as often as I would used to. Well, I'm scrolling on it right now, so I'll probably still use it. I just probably won't post as much on it. I mean, I pretty much almost deleted everything off my Twitter account. It was only because it's like it was certain things that like I had that was just it wasn't terrible or damning as people would say. It was just I don't know stupid things that I tweet that like I tweeted mainly retweeted because it's like I don't think I tweeted very much. I just retweeted certain things, childish things. Nothing bad. But yeah, it's like I will say this: Twitter is still good. It's probably not my number one app as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. And I'll be back on Instagram in about 2 months. 2 months, so I'm just gonna wait and see how I feel about it in general. But as for Elon Musk, I do not. I don't. It's like he's a billionaire. Like free speech king, but yet Twitter X is not free speech. I mean, Twitter X is not free speech or X, whatever you want to call it. It's just not free speech in general. It's
Like, look what happened to Risk.
you said what?
Look at what happened to Risk when he was expressing his opinion,
Yeah,
and look what that got him.
is his account still locked?
Yes, well, I assume his account is still locked, but when he said that his account got locked, I was like, well, on one hand, wow, and secondly, I was surprised. Like,
Oh no,
has openly said his opinions about that many, many times. It was gonna happen at some point.
oh yeah, no, I know he can still tweet. I can see he can still tweet. But yeah, like you're absolutely right though. It's like yeah, it's like he was expressing himself and then he was then he got locked out. It's kind of sad really, but that's pretty much what all social media is. That's pretty much what social media is, and you either adapt or just get left behind. I would say if you get left behind, it's no big deal. It's really no big deal. Because at the end of the day, it's whatever. But hey, is there anything else in the news?
Pacquiao to come out of retirement for title shot.
Okay, someone's coming out of retirement, huh?
Yep,
Just couldn't stay away, huh?
no.
No, okay. Let's hear more.
Manny Pacquiao, a Filipino boxing star, will end his nearly 4-year retirement to fight Mario Barrios on July 19th in Las Vegas for the WBC welterweight title. Pacquiao has not fought since losing the UBA welterweight crown by unanimous decision to Yordenis Ugas in Las Vegas on August 21st, 2021. Barrios, a 29-year-old American boxer with a 29-2 record and 18 knockouts, has retained his title in a draw against Abel Ramos last November during the event headlined by Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. WBC president Mauricio Suleiman confirmed Pacquiao plans to fight Barrios, and Nevada has cleared Pacquiao to compete. Pacquiao is set for Hall of Fame induction next month. Pacquiao's return poses a challenge under WBC rules for retired former champions and occurs amid his Senate election campaign in the Philippines scheduled for May 20th.
Well, that's it. That's definitely interesting to hear. I mean, a boxer who's like nearly retired, nearly 4 years into retirement, coming out of retirement to like fight here, to fight another fight.
Yeah,
I suppose fighters don't truly stay retired. I mean, just look at Mike Tyson. He's come out of retirement like a million times. He came out of retirement to fight Jake Paul. By the way, that match it just seems rigged. Let's just say it was just rigged. Come on now. Mike Tyson got
what isn't rigged these days?
That's true. I mean, hey, we all know that wrestling is rigged, but that's a known fact. But that in of itself is a known fact, and we accept that. But obviously, it's kind of we know
Yeah,
it. We know it's rigged. So it's like that's we all know they're performers. Now we know the rings can hurt. We know probably bumping in those rings can hurt, and like obviously certain spots can hurt. But like the characters, like the things that they do on television, we just know not to do pretty much. Like we know that the characters especially it's real. I mean, they're fake. They're either fake or they're an extension of like the real person, the real person in real life.
it's like they're
Take it,
part of a franchise.
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if like this fighter, I don't know, who's coming out of retirement to make some money and he got paid to lose. But who knows? Maybe he'll probably put up the fight of his life and maybe he won't lose. I don't really know what's gonna happen. But anyway, good luck to him. Good luck to the other guy. Good luck to both of them. And yeah, hopefully they actually put on a clinic, a good match, a classic, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint like Jake Paul in my time. Because
Exactly.
I don't want to say it was horrendous, but it was just disappointing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There were some instances where Mike seemed like he was kind of getting there, but it's like he kind of just held back.
Yeah,
I mean, because yeah, I don't know if it was because of his age or it's because people would have thought that Mike Tyson could have beaten Jake Paul, which is probably true. Probably, I don't know.
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. I mean, obviously, Jake Paul would have had the youth, would have had the fact that he's a youthful young man on his side, and Mike Tyson would have had the experience factor on his side, and the fact that you know he doesn't have that many losses either. So, experience versus youth, which one would have won? Clearly, the youth won, but we all know that's that's yeah,
Experience on top.
yeah. I'm not, yeah. And on top of that, bro, I didn't like that fight because for some reason they decided to show Mike Tyson's bare butt, and it was trending on Twitter. I was mad at that because it's like I didn't want to see that, and
Why?
I don't know why other people were reposting that either. I'm like, bro, why are you reposting this?
It's just weird.
It is. Most of the dudes reposting, most of the news, like people who were by like reposting that was straight. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I get this is kind of the buzzing thing, but I don't know, man. I would have at least put a censor on it. Like, if you're gonna repost that, fine. But I would have censored that part. I didn't want to see an old man's bare bottom on my screen. or on my phone screen, on my TV screen, nothing. Like, if I had kids and we were watching that fight, I would have had to cover their eyes. Or they just would have had to see my over exaggerated reaction to that, to seeing that. It would have been a genuine reaction, but I know that some of my reactions are over exaggerated. But, you know, back to the other fighter. Good luck. Hopefully, this isn't the last, but it might be the last. I mean, once again, fighters don't truly stay with. I mean, it might be the last for a while. Most fighters don't stay retired, if the money is right. But hey, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah. Hopefully, whatever happens next, it all works out in the end.
He's probably sick. He's probably sick. Kaisenat has a streaming university?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Or, yeah, but no, let me say it right. Streamer University.
Yeah, I've heard you. I've heard about Kaisenat Streamer University.
I briefly heard about it, but I didn't think it was a real thing.
Well, apparently it is. And many people have many questions.
Is it free or do people have to pay for it?
Well, it's free. Like, anyone can apply, but the thing is, I've seen many videos on social media. People from outside the US, like UK, Australia, other English-speaking countries, they tried applying for Kaizenat Stream University, but the application, when you put the zip or postal code, when people try to put the postal code for their countries, there's a message that says numbers only because, well, postal codes in the United States is just numbers only. So if you lived anywhere but the US, it won't allow you to put your own postal code from your own country. So many people from the UK were bringing that argument, saying like, I can't put my own postal code because it's wanting me to put numbers in, so it's like catered more to the US and of course I've seen lots of other sketches on social media about what goes on in Kaizenet's Dreamers University, but more so about the people who say that they're dropping out of college or the university they're currently at just to go to Kaizenat Streamer University. And the
Really?
thing is, yeah, people actually drop out of college and or university just for Streamers University. And here's the crazy part. It only lasts 1 week.
You're dropping your whole life just for a week at Streamer University.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
Bro, they could have easily just stayed in college. I'll be honest. You could stay in college while also attending Streamer University for the week.
That could have been possible. And then to continue as your life as it was, and nothing, and it's like as if nothing ever happened. But no, you have to say, oh no, I'm leaving you guys. I'm going to do great things at Stream University. 1 week later, you graduate from Stream University, and then, okay, now what am I going to do? You're in the dead end.
Imagine putting that on your application. I went to Kaizen at Streamer University.
Yeah, that'll be good for showing that you're good at flipping burgers or mopping the floors.
Like, imagine just putting like education, Streamer University.
What is that exactly? The interview.
Well, pretty much you learn. Yeah, like you learn how to stream online to millions of people. And as impressive, you probably shouldn't tell the guy you were only there for a week. I'm just gonna say that.
Most times people won't care
There,
about how long you've been there anyway. Just
yeah,
there's no
because
point.
I'm not gonna lie. You cannot make that sound. You cannot make that sound impressive at all. I mean, you could say like to help us stream to like thousands of people. Like you can probably make up certain things like it teaches us how to talk properly. You can try to make it sound smart, but it's not gonna sound impressive on an application. I wonder if this is like a short-term thing for Kai, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't necessarily see this being like one of his businesses. I can't see that. I just unless you somehow make it that, but it's like I'm not gonna lie. This seems like it's kind of like I don't want to say joke because people are actually applying to it. I don't want to say joke. It seems like a joke, but you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, the only joke are those who say, I got into Stream University, so I'm dropping out of the current education I'm in right now, even though Stream University is going to last for a week. That's the joke right there, and nothing else.
You know what this reminds me of? That
What?
one episode. There was Good Luck Charlie, right?
Yeah, I remember. Good luck, Charlie.
Of
Oh
that one.
yeah, that episode. TJ
Yeah,
goes to, I forgot what the name was, but it was a
it was a
university
chick.
related to fast food or something.
Yeah, fast food and chicken. Quickie Chicky University. I don't know what it was. Yeah, this reminds me of that episode. I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure their university lasts for like what, only 2 days. I
Yeah,
can't. Yeah, right. Only two
yeah,
days.
yeah.
This what Kai is doing. This reminds me of that, except it's like
It's more related to streaming, and it only
yeah,
lasts just a week. It's a little longer, but
it lasts.
it doesn't last long enough for you to actually absorb the knowledge and apply it to when you actually graduate.
Yeah, and I would say this too. The only difference is that this one lasts 6 days extra.
Yeah,
Also, I don't know. I guess it only lasts a week because there's not really much you can tell people about streaming. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah, that's true.
Like you can, I mean, I suppose it has more value to it because it's like you're getting it from somebody who's actually doing it. So it's in a way it is better than just simply reading about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But still, it's like this is something long term and not just for like probably a couple of months and fine. But it's like I would not put streaming university on the application. I'm just gonna say that. But hey, good for Kai though. At least it's free though. He's not
Yeah,
charged. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. At least it's free.
yeah.
You're getting free information from one of the hottest streamers right now, and you don't have to pay for it. So it's like
Well, can't argue with that.
I still wouldn't see why anybody would drop out of real college just for this. But hey, that's their future.
They get what they get.
That's true.
And what is funnier is that I'll have to ask you. I'll have to ask you this question first to get the idea. Between Stream University or Harvard, which of the two would have the highest acceptance rate?
Oh wait, what'd you say?
Which between Harvard or Stream University, which has the the lowest acceptance rate?
You said have the lowest acceptance rate. I would
Yes.
say Harvard.
Well, you'd think Harvard with around 1%, 0.1%, but no. Stream University has an acceptance rate of 0.0025%.
Oh, so not everybody gets into streamer university then.
Oh no, there was roughly 10 million people that applied for Streamer University, and there was only like 150 spots open.
Oh,
From one TikTok video that actually did the math for that.
wow. I didn't know that. So only the best of the best get into streamer university for a week.
Yeah,
A week of knowledge. Wow. Huh. Very low acceptance rate.
yeah. But at least there's something to brag about.
Actually, that's true. That's true. Okay, fine. That's you can even if it is for a week. If you're gonna put that on the application, I don't think the employer. I still don't think the employers are gonna take you as seriously. But that is definitely something to brag about. I will say that. That's something to brag about. That you got accepted while no one else did. That only 100 you said people got
Yeah,
accepted.
yeah, there were like 150 people that were given spots to Streamer University out of roughly 10 million people that applied.
Interesting. Huh. Cool. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's something to brag about then.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, is there anything else in there?
South Korean Conservative Party moves to switch presidential candidates as election turmoil deepens.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Any more on this story?
2025, South Korea's People Power Party overturned its primary results by removing Kim Moon-soo as their presidential candidate and instead nominating ex-Prime Minister Han Duck-soo ahead of the June 3rd by-election. The decision followed internal pressure from Yoon loyalists after former President Yoon Suk-yeol was ousted over his December martial law attempt, leading to party turmoil and failed talks between Kim and Han to unify their bids. Kim, a staunch conservative and ex-Labour minister, won 56.3% of primary votes on May 3rd, but denounced the change as an overnight political coup and vowed legal challenges, while Han, aged 75, cited his career qualifying him amid geopolitical uncertainty and trade challenges. Recent polls show Democratic frontrunner Lee Jae-myung leading Han 44% to 34%, and Kim 43% to 29%, and Lee criticized as a populist who may deepen divisions but also seen as capable of addressing inequality and corruption.
Well, I will say this: whoever is the leader, I hope they do I hope they do good by their people, good by their country, and good by themselves. And I also would hope that they do good by God also. But other than that, yeah, it's like I would just hope that they do good, whether if it's an ex prime minister or whether if it's a new or whether if it's a prime minister who has no who or whether if it's a person who has never been a prime minister who has no experience whatsoever in this specific role. I just hope everything goes by smoothly and everything goes by well, but because ultimately speaking, you never really know what can happen. You never really know what can come to pass. Things can change. Things can remain the same. But ultimately speaking, you just have to ensure that your leader is very competent and able to lead the people and able to lead you as well into what people would call prosperity. Dang, it has been 2 weeks already since he posted this video. Sorry, I was looking at a YouTuber. You saw 2 weeks. It's like it's only been days.
Wow,
Anyways,
that's something.
yeah. But anyways, yes. I just hope that whoever leads them can lead them to victory in the long run. Whether it's we would hope that it's not through any wars, but just politically, and just get the victory towards anybody that they come across. And yeah, that's we can just hope. All I can do is just hope for the best. All we can do is hope for the best for those people.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
July's Theron, Uma Thurman face off in the Old Guard.
The old guard too?
Yes, the Old Guard 2.
Huh. Interesting. Is there more in that?
Netflix will release The Old Guard 2 on July 2nd, 2025, starring Charlize Theron as Andy and Uma Thurman as the antagonist Discord. The sequel follows Andy, now mortal after the first film, as she and her immortal team confront Discord, the first immortal enemy. Returning cast members include Matthias Bogger, percent.
Well, we'll say this. It seems like it'll be a interesting watch to say the least. I'll be honest, I'm personally probably not gonna watch it, but because I would the old guard. I would have to watch the first old guard in order for the second old guard to make sense. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
And second, probably not going to watch it. So first, I'm probably not gonna watch it in general, but I do hope people, whoever is watching it enjoys it, and I hope it just does not have any messages in it in regards to agenda of some sort or in regards to spirituality in general. I would just hope it doesn't have a hidden agenda because it seems like so many movies have that. Whether it's what it seems like so many movies want to push a certain agenda to the people and make them like something or hate something.
yeah.
That's what I've noticed at least. That's also why I never didn't watch that movie Sinners. I just I just assumed it had something that I wouldn't have. Most people say it's about vampires and all that. It probably is. Still not gonna watch them. Still not gonna watch it called Sinners though. But that's all. That's all I have to say. How about you?
Well, whatever success goes on for these actors and actresses and anything in between, hopefully it all goes well for them. And yeah, just live life as we want to live them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And, yeah, I just hope nothing bad happens, and I hope they don't get into any controversy just because of something that they do in the movie. I don't mean saying anything, just like literally doing. But hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Amen. Yep, that's true. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Pope Leo XIV lays out his vision and identifies AI as a main challenge for humanity.
AI is a main challenge to humanity. That's very interesting. That's an interesting take. Let's hear more.
Pope Leo XIV outlined his papacy vision on Saturday in Rome, identifying artificial intelligence as a critical challenge for humanity. His election came after Pope Francis increasingly emphasized the dangers of AI and urged the establishment of a global agreement to oversee its development and application. Leo committed to upholding key priorities set by Pope Francis and highlighted how advancements in AI during this new industrial era raise important concerns about protecting human rights, fairness, and workers' well-being. On the fourth conclave ballot, Leo, the first American pope, received more than 100 votes, surpassing the 89 needed, and committed to Vatican II reforms.
I will say this. I agree. AI is definitely a problem. It is definitely a growing problem for humanity. AI cannot be trusted on its own, but rather it needs to be, how you say, hmm, how most would say, watch, analyze, and just monitor. Because you never really know with AI. You never really know. Like what it can do on its own accord. So that's why we have to monitor it and watch it and just ensure that things go very smoothly. So I agree with the hope, the current hope right there. And yeah, let's just hope that humanity can thrive until all the end of things as we know. But unrelated, someone legitimately told me that that there's a belief that we had we had technology in modern day conveniences back then, but when the ice age hit, it all restarted then. I never knew that.
Neither did I, until now.
I don't necessarily, but I don't necessarily believe it either. I didn't know that. I didn't know people actually considered that to be actually I didn't know people thought that we had technology before, and then when the ice age hit, it's it kind of reset everything, and we had to start over.
And if that is the case, what did that technology even look like?
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. What would that technology look like? It's confusing. It is.
It
But it's
really
also,
is.
yeah, I would say for I would say for a person who's trying to just find something to solve. That's good for them to solve. But I'm not gonna solve it. It doesn't really seem like it has much depth to it. Skepticism. That's about it. Mostly skepticism, whether you believe it or you don't believe it. But yeah, that's where I found out. It literally yesterday at work actually. I didn't know people believe that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, is there anything else in the news?
US-China trade talks in Geneva end for night to continue on Sunday.
Huh. Interesting. It's gonna continue on Sunday.
Yes.
All right. Is there any more in this news?
US and Chinese delegations held sensitive tariff talks on Saturday in Geneva, ending after over 10 hours and set to resume Sunday. The talks aim to ease escalating trade tensions caused by United States tariff hikes up to 145% and China's retaliatory 125% levies. The meeting took place at Villa Celadin, an 18th century building overlooking Lake Geneva, with key officials like Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng present. President Trump posted that a total reset on trade was discussed, stating 80% tariff seems right, and hinting at possible tariff reductions.
Very interesting. I will say this, man. It's like, when it comes to Trump, it's always about the dang tariffs.
Oh, yes.
It's always about the tariffs. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of thinking about it. But hey, 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 if Trump is passionate about, well, it's not that he's passionate about it. It probably has some form of importance. I just don't know the importance because it's like I'm just not that involved with politics. I'm not gonna lie. I will say this: when it comes to politics, it has an excitement to it when you're like rooting for your favorite guy or girl to win. But it also has chaos to it, and I think that's what's quite exciting about it as well. People love the chaos. But when it comes down to like the laws and all that stuff, people do not care, or at least people like me don't care. Now I don't want the chaos. I don't want the chaos. It's just I don't want the chaos. It's like I it's just there are certain people who find excitement in the antics, and antics when it's leading up to their favorite guy winning a debate or their favorite girl winning a debate, or just someone saying someone Donald Trump owning someone, be like, you got owned. But after that, it's not interesting anymore. It's just not. Politics in and of itself are boring. It's like people only really get riled up for politics when it's election day, and when they want their guy or girl to win, or when they want someone to run for president. That's when everyone gets involved. And after that, it's like the other people just stop caring. It's just like in all actuality, it's like I applaud the people who are passionate about politics and passionate about their country. I'm just not. I'm just not that passionate about it. That's about it. I love my country, and the antics that lead up to everything are entertaining. But I just don't care in the terms of everything. Because at the end of the day, no matter leader, who's their leader, who this king is, quote unquote, they're not my king. I didn't vote for them. Dude, I didn't vote for Trump or Kamala. But if you did, cool. I don't hate you for it. Whatever. But yeah, I may not get the whole point of tariffs, but they're clearly so important that they're being brought up in news articles. So whatever that is, I wish Trump the best of luck.
All of the United States.
That's true.
They're gonna need it.
But we will. But is there anything else in the news?
FDA approves first cervical cancer screening device that can be used at home.
Okay, let's hear more about this device that we use at home.
The FDA approved Teal Health's Teal Wand on May 9th, 2025, as the first cervical cancer screening kit for at-home sample collection in the United States. This approval responded to low screening rates, as only 1 in 4 women received regular cervical cancer tests despite CDC guidelines. Teal Wand uses a swab inserted into the woman's donut to collect samples detecting HPV, the virus causing over 99% of cervical cancers, which are mostly sexually transmitted infections. The company, based in San Francisco, will first market the prescription-required kit in California, starting next month, while working with the insurers like Aetna to extend access.
Wait, so cancer can be caused by sexual transmitted diseases?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Well, now you know.
Yikes! Dang, that's a That's unfortunate. That really is. But I will say this. Like it's every dog. So like any woman who is not like gotten tested for cancer, and I say get tested, especially if you're actively having sex every single day or every other day, pretty much regularly. If you're having sex regularly with random people, random men, or random women, get tested. Get tested, because I'll be honest, I did not know that you can get cancer just from a simple sexual transmitted disease. That is just scary. And the fact that people are still going to be having sex raw outside of wedlock, knowing this information, well, I can't control anyone's actions. All I can tell you is to be careful. But yeah, that is just very. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I've said it many times and I will say it again. It's great to see there's progress in the world of healthcare and medicine and preventing all kinds of diseases. So glad there's progress to ensure that no one will ever have to suffer such consequences like that at any point in their lives.
Yeah, that's true. I 100% agree with that. I do. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Trump to accept luxury Qatari gift jet for interim use as Air Force One.
Interesting. Second time
Yes,
in the news.
exactly.
All right. Is there more to say?
President Donald Trump is set to accept a luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet as a gift from the Qatari royal family during his Middle East trip. The administration's legal analysis argues that accepting the plane as a gift would be constitutional despite the emoluments clauses prohibitions on gifts from foreign states. Trump intends to convert the Qatari aircraft into a presidential plane, with the Air Force adding secure communications and other classified elements.
Interesting. Trump gets gifted a jet. A jet?
A luxury jet, to be exact.
Let's be real. He doesn't need it, but he'll
Well, he
accept
got
it.
it anyway.
And he got it anyway. Yeah, but he's gonna get it. He got it anyway. So, hey. Well, congratulations, Trump, on your new jet. I hope you enjoy it. Your very luxury jet. I'm pretty sure your wife and many children will enjoy that jet.
Or at least his son, because most of Trump's children are already having their own families now, so, and who knows what they're doing, so.
How many wives does he have? Or did he have?
I think Trump has, let's see, the three and the first, the second and the third. 5 children.
Okay. Um, hope to be me someday. I could. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Some of his children do not look like him.
Yeah, but of course, Trump did have 3 different wives, including the current one, so
Nah,
they could look like many other people other than Trump himself.
that's true. Probably look like a late uncle. Probably look like one of their late uncles. Or something like that. Who knows? But
Who knows?
but that's true. But hey, Trump, enjoy your jet. Even though you don't need it, enjoy it. Uh, but yeah, There's not really much to say. Just enjoy the jet. Trump. Enjoy. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
World Video Game Hall of Fame inducts Defender, Tamagotchi, GoldenEye 007.
Wait, say that one more time.
The World Video Game Hall of Fame inducted Defender, Tamagotchi, GoldenEye 007, and Quake on Thursday, recognizing games that impacted the industry. Defender, launched in 1981, was acknowledged for its challenging gameplay, as stated by experts. Tamagotchi, released in 1996, sparked the popularity of pet simulation video games, according to industry sources. Quake's game code described as A Literal Legacy by electronic games curator Lindsay Carano influenced many games for nearly 30 years.
Well, for one, I'm not surprised there's a video game Hall of Fame. Big off. It's good to honor like the great video games we have. Although, not gonna lie, although I'm not surprised that there is a video game Hall of Fame, I don't see the point. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. But at the same time, you know, if you want to honor the great video games that came before these current video games, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't think all the current video games are as good, but I am looking forward, even though I don't have a gaming system, to GTA 6. Yeah. But yeah, that's great to acknowledge all the video games that made an impact in some way, shape, or form. So gaming and how they revolutionized gaming again. So that's definitely great to hear. Do you have anything?
No, not much. It's great to see games from many decades ago being acknowledged for their innovation that really changed the gaming world for a very
Ah,
long time.
change the game name
Yes,
or
changed the game.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's always good to see, good to hear, and good to just follow in the footsteps of your fellow gamers, such as PewDiePie, such as
PewDiePie!
other people who I don't. I'll be honest, I never really watched gaming videos like that. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, any streamers that play video games, I'm pretty sure Corey Kenshin plays in video games, or he still does. I'm not sure. Yeah. There's really not much to say about it. It's a video gaming hall of fame honoring many old video games that came before. So there's not really much. I'll be honest. There's not really much to say on this.
It
So
is
congrats.
what it was, and it was what it is,
True. It's like
and so on.
I'm trying to figure out something to say, but it's like there's not much to say. But either way, let's move on.
It just happened.
Yeah. So what else in the news?
Chimpanzee groups drum with distinct rhythm.
Huh? Draw with distinct what?
Rhythms.
Oh, rhythm. Okay.
Yes.
Let's hear more about that.
An international team published a study on May 9th in Current Biology showing that two chimpanzees subspecies drum rhythmically in the wild. The research arose from observations of 371 drumming bouts across 11 communities of eastern and western chimpanzees living in Africa. The study revealed that western chimpanzees drum with a quicker pace and consistent timing between beats, whereas eastern chimpanzees tend to vary the length of time separating their drum strikes. Lead author Vesta Eleutheri expressed surprise at uncovering distinct rhythmic patterns among the chimpanzees, as well as notable parallels between their drumming and human musical rhythms.
Well, I will say this: chimpanzees are very smart in that regard. And yeah, I'm not surprised. Chimpanzees can pick up things way quicker than probably some people can, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's very impressive, but at the same time, it's not surprising. Do you have anything in regards to the chimpanzees?
Well, I'm as shocked as the researchers are, because I didn't know that was even possible. But there we are.
Yeah, they're reporting on chimpanzees or gorillas or monkeys. Speaking of which, I think there's a trend on TikTok: 100 men versus one gorilla.
Oh my gosh, I can't stress enough how many times I've heard something along those lines. 100 something against one that. Like,
I'll be honest, I don't know how that got so popular. But it's just clear as day that people are just they can't think of anything else to make a trend. So it's like they make that question a trend. They make a basic question like that a trend, and people make a big deal about. It. I really don't get it. How many times have you heard that question?
well, it depends on what the context is. And I'd already forgotten what examples there were, but I know there was 100 men, gorillas as one example from the top of my head.
Yeah,
And then,
one man, 100 gorillas. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I've heard one that was very surprising to me. 100 women and one accountability. Something along those lines.
yeah. Do you know what the question was asked? Out of the
No,
100.
but I saw. I think it was a. I think it was. I think it was roughly an Instagram reel where there was like an obstacle course for women to go through, and in each stage includes different stages of insecurity. Like acknowledge that the woman was wrong for assuming what the man was, or assuming that they are the problem in a relationship, and then there was another stage where they accept they have no that the father they have to apologize to their fathers for what these women have become in the first place. That was at least a brief description of the TikTok video from a while back, and it was interesting how it all
Did
panned out.
did most of the women lose?
Oh no, this didn't actually happen. It was just an idea.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was thinking like it's like it was a genuine obstacle course. I was thinking a genuine obstacle course in my head is like they had to go through like obstacles and it just had like a sign that said like be like it had something. It had a sign where it's like if you go through this, you take accountability or something like that. I was kind of thinking that, but okay, I got. I feel like people would not do that unless they were getting paid to do that. But yeah. Anyways, is there anything else in the news?
Well, what I'm about to tell you may sound crazy.
Okay.
Moment, a quote dust devil swirls through Manchester.
Wait, hold on. Say it one more time.
A moment, a dust devil swirls through Manchester.
The thing. Is there any more in this news?
It's not a news article. I just saw it. I saw a TikTok video, and actually before that, I saw this. I saw the same video on Instagram as a reel, and I thought, how on earth was that possible? And it was basically a tornado just forming in my home city, and there were many people recording videos of that tornado, like forming into what was the biggest extent before it just disappeared. And people are still questioning, how on earth did it happen? And then the comments section, oh man, it was just funny. People thought it was AI. The others thought, uh, I forgot what the rest was, but there was a few that thought it was AI, but it was not because I know there was a certain specific shading of shadowing from one of the perspectives. Like it wasn't just one person recording. When the TikTok I sent in the chat, there were many other people like recording the same exact tornado, but just from different angles. And wow, it's just I'm just wondering what Risk would say if he saw this.
Risk would
Yeah,
have a lot.
he would have a lot to say about manipulating the weather of some sort.
Yeah, yeah. He would definitely have a lot to say in regards to manipulation of the weather. So, yeah, I would say yeah. Risk would definitely have a lot to say. And
Yes, he would.
but yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Over 100 dead as flooding submerges village in DR Congo.
Wow. Okay. Well, first off, I'm sorry to hear that about the flood. I hope everybody made it out safely. I hope
Yeah,
everyone made it out safely, and I hope everyone is safe and sound after the flood.
yeah,
And I just do hope that people are just I hope no one died, and I hope no one got hurt. Even if people did get hurt, it's definitely better. It's definitely better than people getting killed. And that's all I have to say about that.
yeah,
But yeah, do you have anything to say?
yeah. All I could say is I hope everyone is safe. Not a lot of people have died, and the worst that could happen to them is that they are injured, and hopefully they will recover from such injuries, and people will continue to live their lives how they usually live their lives.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I 100% agree with that. I do. But yeah, that's true. So hopefully everything just get back to normal where they're at. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
EPA to cut program that puts energy efficiency stickers on your appliances.
Oh wow, really? Let's hear more
Yeah,
about that.
For more than 3 decades, energy-efficient appliances such as washers, dryers, refrigerators, and dishwashers have been easy to find at home improvement and big box stores. Customers can always see the products displaying the Energy Star blue label and symbol. Now, the New York Times reported that the Environmental Protection Agency plans to eliminate the Energy Star program, which former President George H.W. Bush created in 1992. During a staff meeting on Monday, May 5th, the EPA announced that it would eliminate the divisions overseeing climate change and energy efficiency as part of a reorganization. The offices being eliminated include the division that controls Energy Star.
Huh. I'll be honest, I don't think I really have any initial thoughts on that. Do you have anything?
Well, although I would say it's, well, this is very conflicting for me. Like, on one hand, I'm concerned about how energy is used in appliances in general, but on the other hand, I'm not too much into climate change, although it is separate to protecting the environment. But that's the thing. Although I understand there are concerns about energy efficiency in appliances, but on the other hand, the the fear mongering with climate change is something that I'm still certain that is still problematic. So, well, firstly, Energy Star. It's unfortunate that they have to go, but of course, I hope that at some point in the future that there are other alternatives for energy, like instead of gasoline or petrol or whatever oil-based product subsidies that are used, that a new form of energy is in the plays, such as hydrogen or dare I say water of all elements.
That's true. That is true. And I 100%, and I do 100% agree with it. And yeah, once more, it's like definitely definitely very conflicting. And I'm just gonna fall with what you said because I just don't have any like real initial thoughts to this specifically. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky rattled by morning 4.1 magnitude earthquake.
Oh wow. Okay, that's wow. Very unfortunate. Hear more. Let's hear more about the earthquake.
A 4.1 magnitude earthquake shook eastern Tennessee at 9:04 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time Saturday. The quake was centered 13 miles from Greenback and was felt in Asheville and Atlanta. The Tennessee Department of Transportation will inspect bridges as a precaution, but no damage reports were received. USGS stated there is a 5% chance of a magnitude 4 or larger aftershock this week.
Well, I will say this: I hope no one got hurt, and I hope everyone is safe. I hope everything goes smoothly from here on out. And I will say this. I will say this too. Natural disasters are just a regular thing for civilians now, huh?
Yeah,
It's very unfortunate because it's like people work hard to like kind of just people work hard to pretty much just like get the things that they got, provide for their families, just for it to all be ruined by one earthquake or one thunderstorm or simply one tornado. So I'm gonna hope for the best for the people that were affected by the earthquake or were affected in general by the weather in general, and we're just going to hope for the best for them.
absolutely.
Do you have anything?
Not much other than hopefully everyone is safe and whatever happens next, that everyone is still safe as they are now, if not much safer than they are now.
Yeah, same here. That's all. That's really all I have to say about that. But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Film claims to name killer of slain journalist Shireen Abu al-Akleh.
Hmm. Okay. That sounds pretty interesting. Let's hear more about this killer.
A new documentary identifies an Israeli soldier as one who killed journalist Shireen Abu Akleh in 2022, according to Seteo's film Who Killed Shireen? An, un- an, an unidentified Biden administration official claimed the shooting was misrepresented as a tragic accident versus being an intentional killing of the individual. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen stated that better U.S. action could have been prevented further civilian death following Abu Akleh's killing. The documentary alleges that the soldier involved had completed training for the elite Duvdevan unit just 3 months prior to the incident.
Huh, wow. So pretty much a killing occurred by a Israeli soldier, and the United States said that it was a complete accident. It wasn't on purpose, and the soldier gets off scot-free. Like that. That's it.
Yeah, that's all there.
Personally, me and you weren't there, so we couldn't even really tell if it was an accident or not. But regardless, I don't know. You should at least pay for something. I don't know, maybe the funeral or something if it was an accident. Anything. I will say this: it could potentially be an accident, but it also could have potentially been on purpose. But I would not. I don't. I could not determine whether if it was an accident or on purpose. All I can say is this: there should definitely be a deeper dive into this investigation to determine whether if it was a genuine accident or whether if it was on purpose. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
And
it's very complicated stories like this. Like
yeah,
we don't know much about it because not many people pay attention to it. So anyone who does pay attention to it can shift the words in a way that kind of gives a different meaning or context altogether to what's originally been discovered.
that's true. That is true. So it's like yeah, it's all about like situational. It's all about like what the situation is and like how it's handled and how it's being dealt with. And it doesn't really seem like they're taking this situation very seriously. I mean, like, shoot, the guy might have killed a person accidentally, but at the end of the day, that soldier affected someone else's family. Like that person could have potentially been like the only breadwinner of that family, and now it's like they don't have anybody. Who knows? So it's like it's just a matter of like you gotta just be more careful next time, especially being an Israeli soldier. It should have been like, if it was a true accident, you should have been trained to, like, not do those things on accident. But if it was on purpose, then yeah, you should get locked up for it. But hey, I can't do anything about it. I'm not part of it.
Neither am I.
Yeah, right. All we can do is just talk.
So
And
true.
if he gets off scot free, then I can't do anything about that. I can't complain about it. But mainly because I don't even know if it was a real accident. But it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. Is there anything else?
Las Vegas casinos unwilling to gamble with weakening economy.
Oh wow, Las Vegas unable or unwilling to gamble. You said.
Unwilling to gamble with
Oh,
weakening economy.
oh wow. I'm surprised Las Vegas is unwilling to gamble.
That's all what they're known for.
It's Sin City, which I don't agree with the name, but still, that's what it's known for
They,
gambling.
that's what they call themselves. They say we're willing to take the risks no matter what,
Okay,
even if
but
they're unmanageable.
you're not willing to take the risk now, huh? Huh?
That's very, very telling.
Yeah. Also, you should probably change your name, well, not probably not change it from Las Vegas, but just change your motto for being the city. Like if you're not willing to even take the risk with the weakening economy, that's it's fair. But also, it should be a good thing too. Maybe it can get people off of their gambling addictions.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's bad for the owner. but it's good for like society in general. I mean, it'll get people off of their gambling addictions. It'll stop people from gambling so much and wasting their money on gambling money to lose money. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that. I'll be honest. There's an upside to it when it comes to society, but there's a downside to it when it comes to the seat. And I guess if you had to choose between the upside with your with the people who live in your state, and if I guess like if one person has to suffer in order for, well, that's very poetic on a Sunday. If one person has to suffer in order for a lot of people to benefit, then I say by all means and like just do it. It's very poetic on a Sunday.
It sure is.
One person has to suffer in order for like a lot of people to prosper. Then, hey man, endure it. You'll be fine. The CEO probably made his money anyways. He's just suffering for people to make it. Like you see, like the kind of like correlation I did with that. Yeah, uh, yeah, it's very poetic. Yeah, it's like that's literally what I was thinking when I was like just saying that too. Huh? Yeah, so I'd rather just like have people just like get out off their gambling addictions, and if the CEO is, I think the CEO will be fine. He's probably made billions of dollars, so I'm not really that concerned about the CEO if business isn't booming. But hey, it is what it is.
And it was what it was.
That's true. So, is there any more in the news?
That is us.
All right, peace.
Peace.